Every night, you sit there in the comfort of the safety of your house. You have no idea what is going on outside in the darkness. Not from your house. There is a dark and lonely place. You might not know about it, but it's there. All over the country in small towns and cities, there are so many of these dark and lonely places. When I was a young boy, I lived in a small town. Johnny Craig lived across the street from me. I was friends with his brother. He was just a baby then. I saw him growing up, but I never paid much attention to him. Sometimes in the evening, my mother would send me out to the local store to buy a carton of milk or a bag of sugar. On the way to the shop, I had to pass a long, dark stretch of road. During the day, it was just a shady place lined with all trees and vacant lots, where nothing had been built, or nothing was ever going to be built. I was never afraid of it by day, but by night, it was a different place. A lonesome place, a place of darkness and strangeness, a place of terror and fear. There were no houses nearby, no streetlights. It was pitch black as it could be, dark as the deepest night. The tall trees blocked the moon from the stars, casting their long shadows across the road. Whenever you had to go that way, you walked slower and slower. It was like stepping into a dark tunnel. Behind you were the lights of the houses, the sounds of the cars and the people walking along the sidewalk. Ahead of you, there was just a long, lonely stretch of darkness in which anything could be lurking, anything at all. Every time I had to pass that place at night, I was dreaded. I kept hoping somebody would come along so I wouldn't have to walk alone, but nobody ever came. As I walked alone in the dark stretch of road, I walked, and I would keep my eyes fixed on the trees, half expecting to see something or someone lurking there in the darkness. Perhaps it was just a boogeyman. My mother would often tell me that the boogeymen had often waited in dark places for boys and girls to stray from the path. Perhaps there was a child predator. My mother had also warned me about the evil men who tried to lure children into promised candy and puppy dogs. Perhaps it was something else, something worse. Out of the corner of my eye, I would catch a glimpse of the misshapen figures crouching there in the pitch black, waiting for the moment when they would burst forth, pounce on me, and then in silent and isolated area, when would begin to tearing me apart and rending me, and doing unspeakable things to me, and nobody will ever see them again. I'm not sure what I was expecting to see in the lurking in that lonely place at night. My imagination always got the better of me. In my mind, it was a hideous creature somehow between animal and a man. It had long spindly limbs and a huge sharp claws. It had wet, slimy skin, the eyes that burned like fire. I imagined it hiding in the branches of those old trees, dropping down without a sound and stalking an unwary boy and girls who passed along on the dark and lonely road at night. One night it almost got me. I was walking down the lonely road. All of a sudden there was any light ahead. That's when I knew it was coming. I could just feel it, waiting there in the darkness. I started to run, desperate to get away, but I could feel it behind me. It was gaining on me. I could feel its breath on the back of my neck. I ran as fast as I could. I ran until I couldn't. My heart would burst. I almost had me in its clutches, but I managed to get away. When I got back to my house, I looked at myself in the mirror, and there was a long jagged rip in my back of my shirt, as if a sharp claw had tried to grab me and just missed by an inch. That scared me real bad, and afterwards I hated going down there alone in that lonely road more than ever. Some night I won't come back, I warned my mother. She just laughed and told me not to be silly. There's something out there in the dark, I told her. There's nothing there in the dark that isn't there in the light, she assured me. What do adults know about the world? Grown-ups think they know everything. They place their trust in what they read, but they only read what's reported in the newspapers and on TV. They drive around in their cars and never have to walk anywhere at night. They don't know what is going on out there in the dark, in the wrecked and lonely places where no light ever shines and the darkness hangs like a cloud on the ground and no bird ever sings. I knew they would believe me. I knew they wouldn't believe me. I knew there was nothing I could say to convince them that something or someone lived down there, along the trees, on a dark and lonely stretch of road. As I grew older, I gradually forgot about the lonely road. I got taller and I went to high school. I started playing football. I learned to drive and I started dating girls. The years passed, but somehow I forgot about the thing that lurked down in the darkness. The memory of it still remained in a distant corner of my mind, but it was a memory locked away in childhood. The years passed away, but I never thought about the other kids who had to walk down in the dark and lonely road at night. 3 days ago, Johnny Craig went missing. He lived across the street of me. I was friends with his big brother. He was just a baby then. I saw him growing up, but I never paid much attention to him. Not until he went missing. They found him in the trees in the dark and lonely stretch of road. His body was torn and ripped and crushed, almost beyond recognition. The police said he had been mutilated by some kind of animal. The moment I heard about it, I knew what happened. Johnny Craig had been murdered by the thing my childhood fears had created. The thing I conjured up in my imagination. I had left it in the dark and lonely stretch of road. I had left it there wait for some scared little boy who had walked in the dark night. A little boy who couldn't run as fast as I could. After that, the town cut down the tree and put up streetlights. That stretch road isn't dark and lonely anymore. The thing that lurked there is gone now. It's gone somewhere else, where the people are suspecting it. To some other small town, a small town like yours. Till we'll wait again, just as it did here. They will wait there for some other frightened little boy or girl to come along. It's only the matter of time.